So, welcome to Talking Insights. I'm your host, Antonio, and today I'm here with Andrea and Valentina. They're from Postobón. And they did a really interesting presentation on the Esomar Congress about the say-do gap and what the brands and what people are not actually telling brands, and what they do versus what they actually say they are doing versus, that's dichotomy of the action versus what they say. That's what I want to talk about with you today. Can you introduce yourselves and talk with me about a bit about the story of the brands that you represent?
So, as you said, we are Valentina and Andrea. We come from Postobón, which is the lead non-alcoholic beverage in Colombia. And talking about where our project started from, we think the say-do gap is even more evident in our industry, because people tend to believe they are healthier than they really are, or they justify their habits. So we wanted to find a way to find the truth, and that way we can create or build our brands in a more in a manner that answers to our consumer habits the way they can actually consume our products. So that's how the project was born.
So basically, when you're doing the campaigns or your market research, do you kind of, I don't want to say targets, but do you target different experience to different people?
Yes, if we identify different consumer needs, so we know which needs each one of our products answer to. So that way it's easier, not even needs and demand spaces. So that way it's easier for our marketing team to create those strategies. And as we have so many brands, it makes it easier to not compete against each other, just to compete against our competitors.
That's right, yeah. And I noticed during your presentation that you mentioned Carol G, and the story behind that, and how you created a campaign with her, and versus the one with the soccer team. Can you explain me a bit how did you do that?
Well, actually, I'm going to briefly explain what the app is, just if anybody
for context.
For giving a bit of context. Basically, what we did was that we developed an app where consumers take a photo of what they're drinking at the moment they're doing it, and just answer a 1-minute survey. And with that, we have the full information of that moment of consumption. And it's different, just as Andre said, when I ask you, what did you drink yesterday? You probably are going to forget some things that were maybe a bit more of impulse, or you don't remember exactly what you consumed. So that's why it was very important for us just take the picture at the moment you're drinking it and explain it in that moment without any biased information. Why did you do that? And as we are in the cell phone of people, we also have information of their behavior, their habits, based on the apps they use and the search they made, in among others. So we understood that. With that information, we understood that we have two main passion points in Colombia that were music and football. So as a company, we have the belief that we are big if we create big brands. At the end of the day, brands are biggest assets of companies. Of course, people too, but at the end of the day, brands is what is a tool with you can connect with consumers. So we want to create iconic brands. And those brands are the ones you are present in the mind of consumers, that in the heart of consumers, and available in the market. So for being in the heart of those consumers, we wanted to connect with their passions. And that was how the campaign with Karol G was born. She is one of the main artists in our country. The amount of love the people that we have for her is insane because she came from a very normal neighborhood, very normal lifestyle, and we have seen her growing step by step in her career, and we feel very proud of her. So she represents a lot of things that Colombian people has. So for us, was very important to connect those passions with our brand purpose, and that was how music and football and Karol G and Colombiana belong each other somehow. So
Because with this brand in specific, it isn't just like football in general. It's watching football. I mean,
the feeling behind.
the feeling behind watching football. So like it was a perfect match, Colombiana, to make you feel proud of being Colombian with the national soccer football team that is very important in our country.
So you basically like connect the emotion of whatever the people were doing with the brand and with, in this case, with the drink. That's fascinating. So
But not only the emotion, we also ask our consumers, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? Like before they start registering their drinks, they tell us what they like to do, where they live, how they live, what they do for work. So we have a lot of background information on our consumers that allow us to cross the information between who answers for a specific brand and which are their interests.
and so this was like a specific app that people had to download and put it on their phones, right?
It was developed by us.
And how hard was to get people to actually download the app and create the whole campaign surrounding it?
It wasn't that hard because we work with an online panel. So through them, we have the entire recruitment, and they get in charge of like incentivate people to do it. So that way it was easier for them to download the app and actually, participate in the development of the project. And honestly, it was like a win-win situation. We have the information, they have the reward, and that's it. And as we are a company, not an agency, the information is ours. I mean, we are not going to post that information anywhere. It's just an information we work with.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like that hard. I mean, because people don't see their photos anywhere. I mean, that is 100% confidential.
So it's kind of like a social media wall per se, right? But focused on just one brand, right? In the sense that like people post things. Do you think?
It's not like they see their pictures. I mean, they just take a picture. What was important for us was to understand the context. So we are basically not asking people, take a picture while you're drinking it. Just take a picture at the moment of consumption.
Right.
Because we could see the food, where
Company, place, where they were, if they're eating a dish, then how is the dish? I mean, if I'm going to do elements with the brand later in a campaign for something, I want to know how is that. I want to know what is the living room in Colombia, how the dinner looks like, So they basically take a picture, but they never see the picture before. After, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's a registry that they made. Take a picture, save the picture, never see it again.
Yeah.
And then say, I'm with Andrea drinking water because I'm thirsty and I'm in the living room. That's it.
Yeah, and they don't have the instruction to register a specific brand. Just
Exactly.
register whatever you're drinking at any moment of the day. So that's why we are able to know how habits of homemade or like, for example, tap water. It's a type of drink that otherwise we wouldn't able to identify how it is used. So if they are drinking tap water, they say, "This is tap water. I'm at home. even if I'm having it with medicine, whatever. So they don't have the instructions to register a specific brand or type of product, just whatever they drink.
And that is very important because people don't know that we are the company behind.
Uh-huh.
And that is super important because we don't want them to be biased and tell us, and don't want to tell anything bad about our brands if they know that we're behind. I mean, that is completely confidential. And if they want to say, I'm sorry, if your brand's shit, they're going to say because they don't know it's our behind, it's that we are behind.
So there's like
So
an
that is very
anonymity.
important for having information, as Andrea said, of a homemade food, competition, our brands, without any like biased information behind.
You bring that from the anonymity, basically. Like,
Yeah.
if people don't know that they're going to be targeted or accountable for, they kind of like be a more truthful, right?
Exactly. I mean, and it's not something about our app specifically. If you see a lot of information, a lot of research are doing like anonymously. I mean, if you're going to do a focus group about a certain brand, you're not going to tell, hello, welcome to, I don't know, Avon. No, because we want people to be truthful. And if they don't know that you're from behind, they're going to be more open to say what they truly feel. So yeah, that was important for us. So we could actually gather as much truthful information as we could.
Right. And so do you found that there's like a big difference between what people say and what people actually do?
It's huge.
That's great. All right. That's interesting. And like, how do you think like the brands can learn from what customers say, and then what they can learn from learning what they actually do? What can brands learn from this?
I mean, it was an entire journey for us. I mean, we started to see like spotlights because, for example, when we did a normal consumer segment, a healthy segment was like 20% of the market. But when you see the data of the market, you see low-calorie beverages that are still very small in the market. So you start to see spotlights, like maybe this is not big enough. Maybe consumers are not having these type of products in their stomach shared as much as they're saying. And I think that one of the biggest mindset change that we did was Andrea mentioned before,
Which wasn't easy.
wasn't
Changing
easy,
the mindset.
honestly,
Right.
because when even for brand managers, I mean, my brand is for healthy people. No, your brand is not for healthy people. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist because we started to see how in one person, in the same day, you have water, you have soda, you have homemade meals, you have chocolate, everything, because human beings are the summary of everything. So it's very hard to put one consumer into just one specific target. So I think that was one of the biggest discovery for us, and actually changed the way how we approach our brand to the categories, because it's different to say my brand is healthy than say my brand is answering a need of a recovery,
Balancing fast food.
a need of balance, for example. Your communication is different, your target is different, and you understand that your volume is not going to came from a woman of 20 years that is very healthy, that go to Pilates. It doesn't exist. I mean, it's very hard because one of the main reasons why we as a company, because we're not an agency, we're a company, decided to go and do this project by our own was because we have this like uncomfort of with the information we were receiving from agencies, and I think that is very useful for them to hear, of course, also because it was very hard to just receive again and again and again the same segment, the same healthy growing, the same indulgent people is going to die in the future. You're going to focus your efforts in developing
And that's
is
also
not
because
true.
many of the like trends we see on the market are based on global like behavior. And I mean, we are in Colombia, which we have a different culture. So all the trends we see from Europe, from United States are very far from where we are right now as consumers in Colombia. So also seeing that and our internal clients, I mean the marketing team, realizing that behavior also helped us to change the mindset and for them to adopt this tool.
You can't know the answer to a question without first asking it. But how do you ask the questions? More importantly, how will people answer them? That is where Question Pro comes in to support you, empowering you to build and deploy amazing experiences that collect clean and useful data. With our powerful online-based, built-for-enterprise survey platform, it is easy to create, collect, and act on your data. Create an impactful survey in minutes from scratch by importing an existing survey, or choose from over 350 ready-made templates that have been vetted by our expert market research professionals. Add as many respondent contacts as you want and share them through multiple distribution methods. Collect offline data and use white-labeled mobile apps to ensure data collection is extensive and up-to-date. Take advantage of our specialized services to manage enterprise projects, as well as the instances where the insights collection is complicated but imperative. Then, leave the rest to Question Pro. Sit back and watch us work magic as the data is analyzed and compartmentalized into functional insights automatically. Create role-based access reports in addition to exporting the data and insights into your proprietary toolset, allowing you to focus on what's most important, making smart decisions. Question Pro, survey software that gets the job done.
One of the takeaways from all these recent episodes that we've been doing, and especially like when we were in Congress, like all the talks and like the mentoring sessions and everything, one of the major key takeaways that I got was the globalization of the brands, and like how specific brands from specific countries only work there, and they need to be targeted, and that when you're doing the research, it needs to be done locally, and it needs to be done for the specific segment and the specific audience that's in that country, and sometimes not even like in the country, like in the city, because that changes. And I mean, I guess like in Colombia, like a person from Medellin versus one from some like smaller town, like in the or like in some other place, they're different. So you need to like target the research to those people.
They are very different. Even their taste is very different. And you saying that it's completely true, because, for example, in our country, fruit is very important. So for us, juices are part of our day-to-day life, are part, since we are born, we have a variety of fruits, and that doesn't happen in other countries. So when we see the juice trend for 2030, we are what? Like, it doesn't make sense for us.
Yeah.
So that's completely true. And for example, in their coast, consumer behavior themselves, their attitude, their behavior,
their culture
it's
is
very
different.
Yeah.
So we are also able to know what's the specific behavior for each brand in every single one of the main regions in our country. So that has also been very important in having so much information.
Yeah.
And I think for me it's like a yes and no, because what we did was to build a demand space segment based on needs. Needs are Maslow pyramid basic for everybody. What is different is how you approach to them. So I think it's the combination of two, and understanding how, if I'm going to enter into different type of markets, I need to understand that specific market, but it doesn't mean I need to adjust my entire strategy surrounding different culture or type. Maybe what I need to do is understand how I can talk to that people, because it happens in our same country. As Andrea was saying, Colombia maybe is not the biggest country in Latin America, but it's very, very different.
Diverse,
You can find, I mean, people in the coast is another country compared to people in the center. So but we have the same product. What we do different is how I'm approaching that consumer and how I'm understanding if I'm solving this need that is a human need, how I'm going to talk to you as a consumer about this business proposal that I have. So I think it's a mix of understanding that I don't need a specific type of product from a specific type of region because they're different. No, but maybe what I need to do is tropical understanding and maybe get your boots a little bit dirty and go to the streets, and understanding your surroundings and your context so you can build actually an interesting proposal for the people you're going to.
Yeah, I think that's the most important. Like, don't be afraid to go on the ground, go and look for your insights, go do your research. Like,
I mean, and I have seen that a lot, that it's a lot of AI and a lot of intelligence and computers and behind, but we are talking about people. And sometimes what you need to do is having a very a deep understanding of data. We love data. I mean, I think that massive consumption data is super important because more powerful brands are also brands that grow the most. But you need, I'm sorry if this is not a very polite way to say it, but you need to get your boots dirty. I mean, go to the street, understand your market, understand your people, because being seated behind a computer is not going to be enough to build a successful marketing strategy. And I think they work for agencies too, because I know that we have in here client and agencies. Do your homework. I mean, actually understand the market, understand your category, understand your consumer, and that is going to be much more easier to create a serious business proposal that can be successful in the market.
One of the things, again, like from these days that we've been here, the other takeaway that I got was how the newer generation and like how the young people are more demanding, but in a good way. Like, they have more knowledge, they have a whole internet, they have degrees, they can travel the world in a different way that we couldn't like 20 years ago. So people are more demanding. And I feel like the thing that you're saying, like, if you go on the ground, like you need to talk to the people, you need to get there and know them, know your brand, know who are your clients, what's the audience like, what do they like and what do they do. That's like how you get to them. But at the same time, like, people, like, they know if you did your homework or not. Like, if you're just like behind your computer and like going to the chat GPT or whatever, asking to do things, people will know. Like, you need to get specific information. You need to go there and ask them, what do you want? What do you like? What do you do when you're drinking water? Do you drink water with ice or without ice? With sparkling water, without sparkling water? You know, those types of questions, I think people are more demanding on that. And they kind of know, like, people know if you did your homework or not. That's really interesting.
And we've also seen that with emerging categories, for example. So I know, like, around the world is a very strong category, but for example, in Colombia, hard seltzer, it's a small category growing, but we realized young people were looking for those type of products they see online, they see on social media. Like in our country, nothing too expensive because they don't have the purchasing power to pay for those type of products. So not only to create marketing strategies, but also to capitalize on those insights and create new products that answer to like emerging needs that young people are having.
How do you see technology evolve? And obviously, like you're again like doing your homework in a sense, like you already created an app, you're already getting your insights from that. But like, how do you see technology evolve in a way that you can get more specific insights from people and your audience? Because you know the door.
¿Cuál es la palabra? I mean, I think people tend to give technology more importance than it can actually have.
Yeah.
So, for example, AI and those new methodologies can bring you so much advantage, but at the same time, so many like barriers in the fact that it's unknown, it can be full of mistakes. So I think involving technology in the process of creating marketing strategies is important, but I don't think it should be like, I think we focus a lot on technology. And for consumers, I think it can be overwhelming. Some people are scared to even something as simple as downloading an app. Not everybody is willing to do it because maybe they are tracking something in my phone, maybe they are listening, maybe so ChatGPT, people hear a lot of things in the news or things like that become barriers in the consumers, and instead of making them feel more comfortable, they like maybe make them feel a little bit more reserved.
Do you think that besides supporting or people getting support from the apps and the technology, they're also getting constrained by it, and they're like so focused on it?
Yeah, because I think everybody is trying to use technology, everybody's trying to take advantage of it at the same time that I think it can be overwhelming.
Right. That's
I think that technology must be like an enabler of getting more information, better information. But at the end of the day, I think that I agree with Andre in the matter that you need to, I mean, technology must be controlled by someone. I mean, you cannot just let it like write a code and that's it, because it need to be supervised so far. So I think as technology as an enabler of gathering more information, without the app, we wouldn't be able in a million years of having 300,000 photos of people drinking beverages in Colombia. So it must be an enabler of gathering information, but I think you need a balance. And again, do your homework, understanding it, and yes, do a supervised type of work, because technology by itself is just, it can be as good and as bad as you do. If you get garbage in, it's going to be garbage out. Right. So if you control it, I think it can be very, very useful and very helpful. And I think that is normal people being afraid of, because, and not only in research, I mean, we are hearing about technology being like the boom in the world for like about years ago. In every industry, we are seeing a lot of companies doing a lot of things. So I know and I understand why consumers can be a little bit afraid of things. But in the manner as we can have like a balance, and I understand that I'm still working with people, and it still is people who's going to drink my beverages and consume my products. That is the way where I can understand how technology is going to make my life as a brand manager or as a researcher easier, but it's as making solutions for consumers also have an easier life, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree. And it's very fascinating. Like, all the recent episodes that we've been having, I keep saying this, like, we're getting like real interesting takeaways, like do your research in specific locations that you want to get, use technology, but in a mindful way. And now, like, do your homework, people, like, get on the ground, do your homework, and like understand like what you want and what you want to get with that information and how to get it. And like, I think that's a really interesting point and topic to talk about. Like, we could talk about this for hours. I get like, people always want to know this thing, like how to get more information, how to get more and more and more. But at the same time, like, the quality, it's not, the quantity is not quality. Like,
Yeah.
you need to have quality things. You need to have, like, understand what you have.
Make the better decisions.
Yeah. And like, understand what you have. Like, you can have like the best information in the world, but if you cannot read it, what's the point to it? Like,
And I think that's very important because you need to do good questions if you want to have good answers. And I think it doesn't work just only for ChatGPT. Tell me blah blah blah. No, I think that is an insight for the world. If you want to gather good insights, have a good information, you need to do good questions. You need to have a background of your market. You need to understand how to approach your consumer. For example, this survey that in the app and all the project, we did it our own. I mean, we go to each consumer, how do you culture this? This is clear. This is the way we should do it. I mean, because it's not just using everything you can for technology. So this is reading images, and this is reading how people drink, and this is reading, and then put it all together and let's see what happens. That is not going to work. That is not going to work. I mean, I think the top line that we have seen during this project is that a powerful insight is not made by itself. A powerful insight born with consumer knowledge or specific observation. And then you can have technology as an enabler, because we can just say, I mean, no, I'm going to keep doing it by paper. No, technology is very good as an enabler of having good and better information. But all that needs to be powered by knowledge of the market, understanding of the market. And that's what we have been talking about, of doing your homework. We are a company that has been in the market for over 120 years. So we have a good combination of understanding the market and understanding the consumer. So I think those things actually power up any insight that you have. And I think that was one of the main reasons why this project was successful in our company and actually changed the mindset of people. That is not easy. That is not easy saying someone, we're going to change the way we understand consumer. That was not easy.
Yeah, or change the way you do your work.
Or change the way, yes,
people, it's not easy to adapt.
yeah.
But once you see how good the result is, how powerful it can be in the market, we did a pilot of, okay, let's try this. Let's try this actually work with a brand, do a pilot in one specific region, let's see the results. And you see exponential growth. There is nothing to doubt about it. Let's do it. And everybody got in the bus with us, and everybody changed it. And the company itself changed the way we work through this rich information.
Yeah. And people need to use technology as a tool, not as a substitute to anything. Like,
Yeah, I think
it's a tool. It's something that you can use, but you need to learn how to use it. You need to go there again. Like, we keep repeating this, but like, go there, do your homework.
Yeah.
Do your homework with your answers. Do your homework with the technology. Like, learn how to use it, then go apply it. Go use it in the ground and use it as a tool. Like, because at the end of the day, this is a tool. It's not a substitution for real people. And people, like, everyone talks about AI and like how AI gonna change everything. It's a tool. Use it as a tool, and that's the best thing that you can do.
exactly.
That's exactly.
Yeah. Well, this was great. Thank you so much for this conversation. We're running like way beyond like the normal line, but it was a really interesting conversation. And so thank you very much for this. And I hope.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So everyone listening, just feel free to like and subscribe, and keep an eye and an ear to all the future episodes. We have a bunch of episodes coming up with insights from the Congress, the Esomar Congress in Athens. So yeah, I'll see you there.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. And thank you,
Thank you.
listeners.